Well, there's absolutely nothing connecting the next review topic besides the fact that it is also hosted on Tubi.
Yes.
Although I guess they are both kind of ridiculous in their own ways.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. They kind of are. Yeah. Yeah. The Delta Force.
The Chuck Norris classic.
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to do a Chuck Norris movie because most of you probably saw he passed away last week.
Yep.
But yeah, so we got into getting in a little bit of his filmography. The only other Chuck Norris movie I've watched was well, I reviewed Invasion USA for the channel, which I believe is also on Tubi. Um, and of course, he was in the Expendables 2. Had a very brief role in that. But yeah, but this movie, it was one of his canon films, another one of his canon films, movies, which interestingly enough, this movie was directed by Menachem Golan, who was one of the bigwigs at Canon Films. And yeah, it also stars Lee Marvin in his final movie, along with like George Kennedy's also in there. Robert Forster plays the villain. And but yeah, it's basically just silly canon films action at its finest, I think. It's so basically the crux of the movie is the crux of the movie. It's follows.
Did it mute me? Damn it.
Oh, did you get muted? Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Well, actually, I was just listening to what you were saying too. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah. So it's basically just like I said, it's kind of peak canon films action silliness. It's so the movie starts off where our titular Delta Force they have to they're getting out of Tehran in which is capital of Iran in 1980 because and this was an actual event when the Ayatollah when the Shah was overthrown and the Ayatollah took over. We some of our people got taken hostage, and in 1980, there was a special forces mission to try to rescue him, but then the helicopter crashed, and which was kind of the final nail in the coffin for the Jimmy Carter administration.
Yep.
And so
among the many nails that Jimmy
like,
Carter managed to get into his administration.
Yeah. Oof. But yeah, but they're pulling from that botched operation, and of course, in the beginning of the movie, we see Chuck Norris being he's being very heroic, and he rescues one of his fellow soldiers he gets trapped in a burning hangar, and of course, as a result of the failed mission, he tells his commanding, Chuck Norris tells his commanding officer Lee Marvin, that he's retiring and he's leaving the army, and then we flash forward 5 years, and some bad guys from the Middle East they hijack a plane in Greece, and they're taking the plane to Beirut. And the lead bad guy is played by I think what was his name? Yeah,
was Abdul the lead guy?
Yeah, Abdul. Yeah,
Robert Forster.
Robert Forster. Yeah,
which is not the name I was expecting to see for that actor.
No. Yeah, he's clearly very tanned. Robert Forster is like he was one of these like veteran character actors for a long time. Most people remember him from Breaking Bad. He was in like a lot of stuff, especially in the 80s. He was actually in a horror movie, Alligator, about this giant mutant alligator that's terrorizing Chicago, or was it Chicago or Philly? I can't remember. But yeah, so they hijacked this plane, and the first like so here's the thing, like the first hour of the movie, like Chuck Norris has maybe 5 minutes of screen time total.
Yeah, it's this movie feels like it's too kind of awkwardly duct taped together.
Yeah. Because it starts off where like the majority of the first half of the movie is mainly just about the plane and the people and the passengers on the plane and the terrorists and all this, and then
And then most of the hostages get rescued, at
yes, yeah,
least the women and children.
yeah, they let the women and children go. Yeah. And then well, the other thing too they do is they separate out all the Jewish passengers because
Right.
you
Oh,
know yeah.
right. And they had like some very maudlin bits where you had people who had survived the Holocaust, oh, not again.
Yeah, and the flight attendant on there, she was German, and she didn't want to help him out because just didn't want to do that again. You know,
Yep.
um, yeah. So yeah, there are definitely some moments in there where they're pulling on trying to pull your heartstrings. Which now I should mention real quick, Golan and Globus were Israeli, so
Right. Yeah, I would never have guessed.
yeah.
Hey, you mean to tell me that there were uh, uh, Jewish people working in Hollywood? I never.
Really? Huh.
Um,
Uh, yeah.
but anyhow, so like that part of the movie was going on for so long, and I forget what the exact mark where the plane finally lands. I kept thinking to myself, okay, they have Chuck Norris and the Delta Force getting ready to like try to rescue them. Are they going to try to board the plane mid-flight?
That's what I was wondering too. Yeah.
Like
Kind of
it
yeah.
feels like this is like an airplane movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, I thought they were gonna do like that one Kurt Russell movie where Steven Seagal gets killed like 10 minutes in. But no, they eventually, yeah, the plane does eventually land, and then yeah, they have the whole thing where like the Delta Force are about to storm the plane, and but then they don't storm the plane because they find out there are more than two bad guys on there, and um yeah, and then it pivots where the plane goes back to Beirut. So then they're in Beirut and they got to find the hostages, and that's where like it turns into like a completely different movie.
Right. Like movie two, they're on the ground in Beirut and they're trying to rescue the hostages.
Yeah.
I feel like the only purpose of the first half of the movie was it was like ripped from the headlines
Yeah.
at the time. Like, so it was very much like exploitative might be the wrong or might be too mean of a word for it, but it's definitely something.
Yeah, borderline propaganda.
Yeah, this one is definitely not subtle in any
No.
way.
No.
I did feel like they did give the one terrorist who was very angry, like they actually were trying to humanize him a bit by having him like be mindful of the small child, and I had a small child until da 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 da.
Yeah, yeah.
So like there was like some balance in the plot. That almost feels like the whole purpose of the first half of the movie, honestly, was to well, one, highlight what it was like in these hijackings, but also from the perspective of the creators, but also uh, to give the villains some stakes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, then it just and then of course as soon as they go to they're in Beirut, and then it turns into a good old fashioned Chuck Norris movie.
Right. With some plausible-ish scenes of the Delta Force doing their thing to try to bring back the hostages.
Yeah.
And then there's Chuck Norris just off in his own movie.
Yeah. 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 That's one of the things about the things they mention in the movies. Like he's always going off on his own doing something else. Like he's never with the team really.
Nope, he's always just going AWOL, getting personal revenge.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, getting into protracted fist fights.
Yeah,
They, as far as I could tell, they never made a toy out of it. But he basically had a magic motorcycle, like the type of thing that Batman would have, and people would just laugh at.
yeah. Yeah, it had rockets in the front and the back, and the little machine guns. Yeah,
And he could shoot at machine gun, or he could aim the machine guns without aiming the machine guns, because he was pointing straight ahead, but still raking fire over the cars that were to the left and right of him as he was driving along.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a live action cartoon for adults. Yeah,
Pretty much,
yeah,
with like it's like the maudlin parts are like the vegetables you have to eat, so then you can enjoy your meat.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's if you're looking for things that are like implausible and you're not like you know trying not to think too hard about it, this is definitely something that would be up your alley.
Again, like it's a plausible movie unless Chuck Norris is on the screen. Like even in the opening scene, he's able to like partially lift up a Jeep to get a
Yeah,
guy out from under it.
yeah. Uh, yeah, yeah, and then he roundhouse kicks his way through the climax.
Yep.
Yeah.
After being gone for most of the movie, because honestly, let's be clear here. If he was on the airplane during the hijacking, there would not have been a successful hijacking.
No, no, it would not. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, like I liked this one more than last week's movie, which which was
Oh,
the action
we watched what was
Rambo 2.
Rambo
That's right.
2, yeah.
Yeah, because Rambo 2, I kind of felt was a bit exploitative and lost the depth that Rambo 1 had, First Blood
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
This is just like, okay, you took kind of a decentish action movie and you elevated it with implausible nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah.
My expectations were low and they were met.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, for me, I would just say like the first half of the movie was kind of like okay, whatever, it was what it was. But the second half kept me hooked. I'm like, oh yes, dumb action.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, as DB mentioned at the beginning of the review, currently on Tubi.
Yep. To be or not to be, well, definitely not Pluto.
Yes. Well, I think we've said all we need to say for tonight.